Hello everyone, I'm Lee from thecraftyspark.co.uk and today we are going to make this little bag. Only a thin bag with a lovely Christmas tag on, but it does have a purpose. The other day we made these and they fit perfectly in their gift bag to create the most amazing present in the world. Well, maybe that was a bit of an exaggeration, but it's pretty, isn't it? You can't admit. So we've already made the set. Now today we're going to be making the bag for it to go into, so you can actually give it to somebody all in one go and it will look all cute and special and matching. All right, so let's just move those out of the way. The first thing you're going to need is your scoreboard and a piece of cardstock that measures, this is Whisper White cardstock I'm using today, and it measures 12 inches across the top by 9 1/4 down the side. Whoops, it's a bit wibbly wobbly because it's hanging off the edge of my desk where I've got the tripod in place. I'll try not to bang it around so much. Too much rather than so much. Right, with your 12 inches then across the top, we're going to do our first score line at 4 1/8, and then 4 3/4, 9 7/8, and 10 1/2. All right. Then you want to turn your cardstock so that you've actually got the narrow band bit, width bit, whatever it's called, towards you, so at the bottom, short end on the top, and this time you need to score it again at 5/8. Oh, and I hate doing these narrow ones at the side. There we go. 5/8 and 7 3/4. That's it. 5/8. 7 3/4. All right, move your scoreboard out of the way, and then fold and burnish your score lines, but the wider one, oh, don't flicker, sorry, I'm trying desperately not to let it flicker today. Yeah, oh, nearly. I'm going to get it in a minute, aren't I? Right, the narrow one is here, the wider one is over here. The wider one you want to fold outwards rather than inwards, so fold that outwards, and then the rest of them fold inwards. Oh, get a bone folder as well, and then you can even burnish your folds as you're doing it, which is always a really good idea because then you get nice folds rather than messy folds. Right, get those all nicely folded over and burnished. I'm going to get 2 more, and then when you've done all of that, whoops, that one's not gone very straight, is it? That's better. Oh goodness, start again. When you have burnished all your score lines, the next thing you want to be doing is find your scissors amongst your mess. There we go. There's my scissors. Hang on, let me sit that down again. With your scissors, still on the narrow end with our score lines, cut a very slight, not a huge notch out. And you want to do that on the bottom of both of those little squares, so that you will end up with, hang on, whoops, come out there, that's it. So you're going to end up with that. Let's turn it around that way so you can get it in the camera properly. All right, so we've got 2 little tabs with the notches in them. Okay, now then, this is where you have to be a little bit careful, because we are going to be working today with this super yummy shiny vellum. Now, this is really the first time I think I've actually worked with this, you know. Isn't that terrible? I'm just going to see if I can find it for you in my catalogue so that I can show it to you. I'm sure. Ah, there it is. It's this one here on page 32, the Holidays Fancy Foil Designer Vellum. You actually get 9 sheets of this, so it really goes a long way. But what we're going to be doing with it today is using the full 12-inch width, but just 6 inches. So you'll actually get 2 bags out of every 1 sheet. Just trying to save a bit of Christmas money there for everybody. Now then, what we need to be doing, move your Whisper White out the way for a minute. Grab some tape, double-sided tape. As usual, I'm going for my nice super sticky one, because not only is it very narrow, but it's also very strong, and it has the added benefit that you can actually see where I'm sticking it, which is always a bonus. Nothing worse, isn't there? Is there rather trying to follow what someone's doing and they put something down somewhere and you can't actually see what they've done because all of a sudden the tape goes invisible or the glue dot disappears. So I try and do it so that you can see what I'm doing. I just think it makes it a bit easier for everybody. Right, so I've stuck 1 piece along the bottom. I'm then going to stick 1 piece up the side like that. Now I'm trying to get as close to that edge as I can. Alright, because you can actually see it slightly through the other side. When we're finished, you're not really going to notice it, but just in case you make a mistake or you get it in the wrong spot, or you find that it's not working the way you want it to do, whatever the reason, it's always better if you've got less to cover up. So by using a nice narrow thin one, it makes life much easier. This one is actually 1/8 of an inch, just in case anybody wants to know. Right, now then, we need to stick it on, but you cannot just stick it, because if you just stick it, as you bend it round, as you go onto your folds, you're going to find that it will all start to bow and warp in the middle, because the vellum won't be stretching as much as your actual card will be stretching. So we have to be a little bit careful with how we do this. The way we're going to do it is a little bit fiddly, I will warn you. More fiddly than what I usually do. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not entirely sure. But it's worth it. Once it's done, it's definitely worth it. So we're going to start off. I've peeled off that edge there. And, oops, actually, should I peel? No, I don't want that one. I want this corner off first. Thinking about it. Sorry about that. Right, we're going to go for that one first. Now, because this backing is plastic, I just need to fold it down a bit. If you're using a paper backed tape, you know, just like double-sided tape or something, you'll probably find this is a bit easier for you. But I just need to make sure it's folded out of the way so I can get to the corner properly. But fold it out like so. Line it up. Don't go, can you see that properly? I think so. Don't go to the very bottom of your score line. You want to go up just a tiny smidge. All right, so hardly anything at all. Maybe, I don't know, a millimetre. What would that be? What's that in imperial measurements? A millimetre, 1/16, if that. 1/32th? No, 32nd. What's a 32th? That's the kind of thing my children say to me. Flipping 32th. Where does that come from? Goodness me. Oh, I don't know. Right. Spend a little bit of time lining it up, because obviously you want to make sure it's neat and tidy. But once you've lined it up and you've got it in the right place, stick down your corner, and then holding your vellum with one hand, just pull out this side tab. Oh, try not to stab yourself with your scissors. Pull out that side tab like that, and then just stick it down. Okay, now we've got it in place, which is where we're starting. The next thing you need to do is just pull it along from that bottom bit that you've got hanging out to that first score line. All right, once you've pulled it out, oops, hang on, I've forgotten to fold the top over. Fold the top back on itself first. Oopsie daisy, we nearly messed up there, didn't we? So fold it back on itself first. Sorry about that, people. Once you've pulled it out to that first score line, fold that first score line under. And you will notice that your vellum moves. So trying to keep it nicely lined up. So this is where I said it gets a little bit fiddly, but once you've started it off, it's fine. It's just getting this first bit out of the way. Pull it across again to the next score line. Do the same again. So fold it under to its next score line. Try not to let go like I just did, but if you did, don't worry, because as you can see, hold it with one hand, pull the vellum over with your other hand, and you can straighten it back up again. And then you can just crease down with your vellum. All right, looks a bit fingers and thumbs, I know, but you'll get it, I promise. All right, so we have now gone to our second score line. So now we can go right across to the big score line, which is where it gets easier now, because now you've got much more being held in place by the tape. So it just makes life so much simpler to do the folding. So again, fold it over, whoops. Try and keep those folds already that you've already done. Just helps keep it a bit neater, helps the vellum find its way better. I'm going to have to turn around that way a bit just so I can straighten up again. There we go, I think. Is that straight? Almost. That's it, that's straight. Smooth your vellum down on that score line again, and you will notice it will start to feel like it's going out of shape underneath that flap. Don't worry about it. Just keep folding it, pulling it, folding it, pulling it. It will get there in the end. And then your last one, this is where it gets a bit easier because we're on the home run. Yay! So hold it in place with one hand, straighten it up if necessary with your other hand, get it nicely in place, and then just fold that vellum down. And then you can pull off your last bit. There you are. All right. If you're not sure about doing that, you can, of course, stick your vellum on first, but just try not to stick it down too flat. You want a slight bit of give in it. It's not a huge amount of give, it's just a tiny bit, but you do want that little bit there. Now, once we're in this position, we can then take off that last piece of the double-sided tape. Come on, off you come. That's it. And let that bit stick itself down. Whoop. Go on, stick. There we go. That's it. All right. Just like so. Now then, we have now got our vellum stuck on a Whisper White cardstock, which is perfect, just what we needed. And as you can see, as I fold it round, I haven't got any bowing or curving or anything else going on, which is just what I'm looking for. Now then, the join, you can see, don't worry about it. By the time we've finished, you're not going to be able to see it. All right. What you do need to be aware of, though, is how you fold over, because we actually want it so that this narrow edge is on the top. So you can just fold it and stick it like that, in which case you might want to trim your edge slightly before you do, just to make sure it's perfectly flat. Because if you look, as I've been folding it and moving all the vellum around, can you see it's gone slightly offline? That's all right, it doesn't matter. You can do it like that if you want to, or you can tuck it in. If you tuck it in though, your join is going to be in a different place to your other join. No matter which way you do it, you're going to be around the wrong way. So just sort of consider that. I'm doing it like this because by the time I'd finished my last one, as you can see, there's the join. The tag, or the ribbon rather, ended up going right above it, so you couldn't see it at the top because that's where the handle was going. And because I've put the tag up quite high, it's covered that bottom piece anyway. So I'm going like this. Now, what we want to do is obviously make it neat and tidy, because we have to be neat and tidy. Now, to be neat and tidy, when you're putting one piece of card under another piece of card, you have to be a little bit careful, that because sometimes you'll find that you have this going on. You see here at the bottom, it's slightly hanging out. Yeah, see that? What I would suggest you do is put your cards into position. Oops, hang on. So there's that, that's the position. So I've folded, I've got one score line here, I've got one score line here. I'm just going to mark just a tiny mark, just using the pointy end of my pointy tool, because I just want to be able to see it. And I'm just going to cut a very, very, very slight notch out, like that. And I'm going to do a very slight one at the top as well, just to get rid of a little bit of that bulk. Now, it was literally very small. Look, that's the bit I cut off the top. I don't even know where the bit went that I cut off the bottom. I don't know. But as you can see now, you see how it's made it that much neater, just from those two tiny little cuts. So it's only minimal, but it is worth doing. Right, let's get, oh, there it is, look. Oops, there's the other bit that I cut off. Oh, look, got glitter all over my hand. That's embossing powder glitter from where I was working earlier. Right, enough about that. Right, double-sided tape going down the outside here. Now I'm on my narrow end again, and my double-sided tape is going right the way down to the very bottom, like so. Stick that down. I'm using double-sided tape on here rather than glue. People that watch me normally would know that I like glue, but when you're making this box bag, yeah, it almost is like a box bag, isn't it? Just tuck that under there before you pull all your tape off. Yeah, you'll know that I like using glue, but when you're making this, if you use glue, you'll find that it might start wrinkling your vellum, and then it will dry in the wrong place, and then it will just look a bit of a disaster. So when you're using vellum, you're better off using double-sided tape really than glue. Unless it's the card vellum, obviously, because that one's absolutely fine. Try and put things in the right place before you stick them down as well, won't you? It makes a world of difference. You actually get something that looks nice rather than something that looks like a disaster. There we go. Let's pull that bit off there. Oh, dearie me. Right. Okay, so we've got our join, and our join is going down the front, not the back. I will tell you that right now. It's on the front. Turn your box upside down, and let's just fold in these little tabs at the bottom. Now this time I am going to use glue because, oops, it will just help to strengthen the box. The fibres in the glue will mix with the fibres that are in, got stuck in my finger in it. Fibres in the glue will mix with the fibres in the cardstock, and it will just help to hold it and make it nice and strong. You don't want a flimsy bag, because although you're not actually putting too much in it, the post-it note holder pad thingamajiggy, whatever we ended up calling it the other day, it is actually quite heavy in comparison to maybe the thinner things in life. Yeah, I'll get that off in a minute. I'll use my my adhesive eraser thingamajiggy. I'll get that off. Right, I want to stick the inside down, so I'm just going to shove my ruler in there. Let's make sure it's all nicely stuck. I hope I didn't just stick my head in the camera. Especially as my hair's a bit of a mess at the moment. Right, there we go. Yeah, that's nicely stuck. Right, now I'm also going to put another little tiny bit of glue just under here to hold this little flap down. Not a huge amount, just enough to hold it in place, because I don't want it gaping open on me, you see. Right, let's just clear all that out of the way. And the next thing you're going to need is your hole punch. Now, you could do this with a single hole punch. I'm going to use my big one because it needs 2 holes anyway, so why mess about trying to match up 2 holes when I can just shove it in here and get 2 holes right exactly where I want them. So make sure you're roughly in the middle. Obviously you don't really want it going too much to one side and not the other side. Punch your holes. And there is the bulk of our bag done. Okay, right, next bit, you will need some pool party ribbon, which mine is actually on a roll up on my wall. Hang on, where's the end of it? There it is. So I just need to, oh, there's not much of that one left. Hang on, let me just get another one. I did have some of the lovely cotton one hanging about somewhere. I do a really nice cotton pool party ribbon. I don't know where it's gone, so I'm going to have to use one of the older ones. We don't do this silky pool party one anymore. But I can't remember if there's any coming out in the new catalogue or not. I'm not sure. There might be, actually. There might be one coming out, but that obviously won't be out ready in time for Christmas. But, oh, come off. There we go. So, yeah, use some pool party ribbon. Pull off a length that's going to go just under there, all the way round and to the back. And then snip off the bit that you need. And I'll show you how I put my ribbon on. People do it differently. This is how I do it. I like to get double-sided tape and stick it to the back of my ribbon. Some people get double-sided tape and stick it to the project and then stick the ribbon on. But personally, I prefer to do it this way. It's just it is a little bit easier, in my opinion, anyway. But I suppose each to their own. You do whatever way you feel is easier for you. So let's pop that on there. Oops. Snip that end off. Right, so that's one piece. Now I want another piece that's going to go right the way around the outside. So that one will be about there. Oh, I probably could have used that other bit that I just pulled off, didn't I? Never mind. Again, let's put some more tape on. Oh, it's gone a bit squiffy there, didn't I? Hang on. That's it. That's better. Snip those ends off. Now then, let's make sure that's stuck on properly. This is where I have a fight to get the backing off the tape. So please, if I don't do it first time, just bear with me. I will find a way of doing this quicker one day. I don't know when that day's going to be, because I've been doing it like this for goodness knows how many years now. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. See what I mean? It's just no good, is it, guys? There's got to be some way of doing it, hasn't there? And, oh, have I got it? Oh, I've done it. Look, I've done it. Yes! Superb. Right. We're going to use the ribbon to cover this join. And because we're covering this join, we're also going to be covering this tape as well. So line up your ribbon, tuck it just underneath the flap, and then you want to just line it up along that edge, covering up your tape. So this is where the cotton one comes in much more handy than this one. Although this is a very nice ribbon, obviously the cotton ribbon is a bit wider, so it covers things up a bit easier. So that's one side done. That's easy, wasn't it? Just tuck that under there for the minute. Make sure I'm nice and straight. About there, I reckon. And then just pull it out. Uh-oh. That wasn't supposed to happen, was it? I pulled a bit too quickly there. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that was close. Nearly ended up ripping my little bag then. That would have been a nuisance. We'd have had to start all over again, wouldn't we? There we are. Right, so that's that one done. Now the one that's going to go around the edge, I'm actually going to start it on the join line that's already there, because when we're done, I know that's going to be pretty much covered up. There, that's that. So I'm just going to start, and I'm just going to go just along that edge. So I'm not actually sticking the edge down. I'm just going, using that edge as my sort of guideline, if you like, of where to go. All the way around. Whoops. Got all fiddly again, isn't it? That's because I've got too many ends hanging about. That's that. Just keep going round until you get to the other side, and then when you get to the bit where they're joining, obviously you want a little overlap, but don't have it too big, because you want it to look neat as well. And when you cut that end off that ribbon, make sure you do it at an angle so that it doesn't start to fray. All right, otherwise that will ruin your hard work. There we go. All right, so there is a sort of parcel looking bit of a bag. Now to do our little tag, oh hang on, I got stuck on the tape. Let me just put that away. I'll glue myself together again. Right, to do our tag you will need, let me just move that out of the way a bit more. Right, you are going to need your 1 3/4 punch, 2-inch punch, 2 3/4 scallop punch, and a foil doily from the foil doily set that we was using when we made the card in the first place, because remember we want it all to match. See, these are the big ones and they also do the small ones. A piece of gold sequin trim, some Pool Party cardstock, some real red cardstock, and finally Santa paper. Santa papers from the Home for Christmas pack. So what we're going to be doing first off with our, oh, I need another punch. I need a 1.5 inch punch. Have I put that away somewhere? Where's that gone? Hang on, I think I've put it back. Wait a minute. Oh no, there it is. I'd left it on the shelf. What is it? 1.25. Is that what I did? I thought I did 1.5. Hang on, let me just measure that. Oh no, it is 1.25. Beg your pardon, people. 1.25 inch circle punch as well. Circle punch. Just love punches. And the circle punches, oh my goodness, they are just so ridiculously versatile. Right, get Santa's head in your centre of your 1.25 inch circle. Pop that to one side. Then with your 1 3/4 inches, punch a red one. Put that to one side. Ooh. I've got a pile of punches going on the side of my desk at the moment. 2 inches out of your pool party, like so. And then back on the real red again, the 2 3/8 of an inch scalloped circle punch. All right. So that's all our punches that we're going to be using. And then I've got some gold sequin trim, which measures, how long is this? It's about 9 3/4 of an inch, I suppose. 9.5? Yeah, about 9.5, 9 3/4, something like that. Snip off that edge. Right, now, making your lovely tag. It's very, very simple. Start off, real red base. Now, when I did the first tag that I made like this, I was using glue, which was fine. Don't get me wrong, glue worked great, as always, but I did put too much on and it did start to sort of splurge out the sides a bit. So I'm just wondering whether it might be better to use some double-sided tape. So this is where fast fuse would come into play, because fast fuse is so strong, but I haven't got any, so I'm going to have to use glue. Right, there we go. That was a quick decision, wasn't it? So put some glue in the middle. Now remember, we only want a very small loop at the top because we want to be covering, whoops, we want to cover parts of that join. So don't have too much hanging out the top there. If you've got too much hanging out the top, you're not going to cover your join up. Well, you will, but you won't be nowhere near as much covered on your join. So just a small amount. All right. Then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down the side of this circle because I want it to make sure it goes on the side like that. So I've put the sequin trim onto the scallop circle, and then I've put the pool party over the top. So I'm actually sandwiching that sequin trim in between my real red cardstock circle, scallop circle, in between my real red scalloped circle, that's it, dear, and my pool party circle. Just need to hold it for a minute because if I take my hands off too quick, I don't want it to ping off on me. There we go. See, last time I did it, I put some glue sort of on top of the sequins as well and rubbed it like that, and the glue just went everywhere. It was not a pretty sight. Did you like sound effects? Oh, such a child, aren't I? Sorry. Right, a bit more glue in the middle of that one, in the middle of your real red one, because we're going to put super pretty gold doily on the top, and that way you can just see a little hint of the red through the doily. Isn't that pretty? And then just another, just a small bit. Come on, glue. I know I said small bit, but you've got to come out. just to hold Santa in place as well. There we go. Now I did think of sticking this on with dimensionals, but I don't know, I didn't want it sticking out too much. I wanted it to be a bit flatter. You could try it with dimensionals though, see what it comes out like. Plus as well, this is for one of my sons to take to school, and bless his heart, he's a lovely boy, but he does have some difficulties, so I need to keep things fairly bomb-proof, really, I suppose is the word. And if it's got dimensionals on, that's just something else to catch, isn't it? So keeping it nice and flat will just make it much easier for him. Right, let's pop a little bit of glue on the back, like that. Put your Santa up the right way, and then he can sit in the middle of your pool party circle. Can you see? So we've got a lot of layers there. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers, but doesn't it look effective? It looks really, really effective and gorgeous looking. I suppose you could, if you wanted to, you could also put a pool party circle on the back if you thought that was a bit too dark to actually write on. Entirely up to you, whatever you choose. I didn't actually, thinking about it, on the other one, but do you know what? I'm going to on this one, because I know he'll freak out if he sees that too dark, because he will be saying, oh, I can't write on it. So let me just put just one on the back, just so that he can write his teacher's name. Otherwise he might get upset that he can't remember who it's for. And the last thing you want to do is upset a child at Christmas, because that's just wrong. There we go. Stick that on there. That's better. Then he can write on that much easier then, can't he? See what he's writing. That's it. Right, now for our handles, there's no sort of set length really, I suppose. It's just, oh, for goodness sake, get off my fingers. You want them big enough to get a decent handle though, obviously. So, I mean, I'd go, what have we got there? How long did I do the other one? Can't remember how long I did it. I think they were about, sort of about that length, weren't they? Yeah, once you've got a knot in it. Yeah, I'm going to go for that length, so whatever that is. Let's see what I've got. I have got, what's that, 16, 20, 26 inches. There you go, 26 inches. Now, putting your tag on. Feed your ribbon through your tag. Yeah, honestly. Feed your ribbon through your first hole and straight through your second hole, and then go back through the other side. Oop, that's it. But pull it up through the middle. All right, and then the other end of your ribbon, go through that one and up through the middle. All right, so you've actually got the two ends coming out of the middle of your box. Tie a little knot in them. Try and get it as flat and tight as you can. If you pull it that way like I just did, you find that it tightens quite nicely because it sort of widens those edges up. Snip off again at an angle. Now the reason we've done it like that is because I want that knot in there, and I want it so that the handles, can you see how they're going across the inside of that box? Because by having it like that, when I put the card in and the little post-it note holder, look, you see, I have to pull them to open it out, but when I put them back in, Oops. I can put those inside. Oh, nearly lost the pen. Pull my handles tight, and those bits of ribbon that are now going across the top of the box, can you see how they're holding the card in place? Helps to stop anything falling out your bag then. How's that? So not only have you secured your bag so things can't fall out, but you've also got yourself your handles. Fiddle about with them till you get them where you want them, right length. Make sure your knot stays in the middle, and you're done. How's that? Doesn't it look nice? When that sequin trim first came out, I was a little bit, I'm not bothered by it. I just thought it was a bit of a strange thing to put on a reel for paper crafting, but my goodness, did I change my mind. I think it looks really nice, don't you? I hope so. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed that little video. I hope you enjoyed making this lovely bag to match your card and your post-it note pad cover. I'm going to write that down and stick it on my head, I think, so I don't forget it. But I do hope you've enjoyed it. Anything that you like, that you feel that you need, that you haven't actually got already to make this, just go onto my website, www.thecraftyspark. Oh, goodness, I just got caught by a yawn there. I do apologise. www.thecraftyspark.co.uk. There'll be a link in the blurby bit underneath the video for the actual blog post that goes with this. And if you click on that link, you'll see all the measurements and sizes that you need. And there'll also be a really handy dandy list of everything you need to create it. So all nice and simple for you. All right. I will see you again very soon. And if you need anything in the meantime, by all means, just drop me a line and let me know. See you later. Bye, everybody.